Born in Oak Park, Illinois, near Chicago, in 1902, a man who could read before he entered kindergarten, he grew up to become a psychologist who not only analysed and studied human behaviour, but also understood it. His name was Carl Rogers, and his work changed how therapy is done, how relationships heal, and, if you let it, how everyday conversations can feel like oxygen instead of a chore. Rogers is best known for person-centered therapy, a way of being with people that's non-judgmental, deeply empathetic, and surprisingly simple. It's the opposite of fancy jargon and complicated frameworks. At its heart is a deceptively easy idea: active listening. Listening in a way that helps the speaker hear themselves, feel understood, and start to heal. I first stumbled onto Rogers because I wanted an edge with communication. I was tired of small talk that felt like chasing a plastic bag in the wind, and deeper conversations that kept falling through the cracks of misunderstanding. Honestly, I was also curious. Could listening, really listening, be the lever that moves everything else? Spoiler, yes. It changed my people skills, my friendships, my confidence, and the kind of conversations I get to have. The best part, it's not complicated, and you can start using it today. But before I show you how I did it, here's what happened when I tried it. There's a saying that the most basic human need is to understand and to be understood. That line had been floating in my head like a motivational poster, but it didn't click until I started listening differently. When I did, people around me relaxed in real time. Their shoulders softened. Their stories got less guarded and more honest. They didn't just talk more, they discovered more. I watched friends and co-workers wander into insights they didn't expect, because the space between us was safe enough for their thoughts to show up. Conversations got better too, not just deeper, but more alive. When people feel seen and not judged, they get delightfully real. They stop sticking to script and start exploring. I heard the most random, hilarious, beautiful things. The kind of candid honesty that makes you think, wow, we all have entire galaxies inside. The atmosphere of my relationships changed, from performance to presence, from waiting for my turn to let's uncover this together. I also noticed an improvement in the way people felt about themselves. Being listened to, like truly listened to, made them feel more confident and capable. Sometimes they found the answer on their own just by saying it out loud to someone who cared enough to hold the thread. I didn't fix them. I didn't dispense wisdom like breath mints. I simply made it clear I was right there with them, and that was enough to help them steady their own steps. If you're thinking, okay, but does this actually work beyond your circle? Rogers had receipts. When he practiced this approach, clients felt more accepted, trusted the relationship more, and often found the insight they needed from within. And that's why his methods didn't stay in therapy rooms. They spread to classrooms, boardrooms, community circles, anywhere people want more honesty, more growth, and less defensiveness. Now for the practical part, how I actually do it. Let me get one myth out of the way. Active listening is not be quiet while the other person talks. Silence can be part of it, sure, but passive silence can feel like staring at a wall. Active listening is presence with intention. It's three things at once. Attention. I'm here, not in my phone, not planning my comeback, not multitasking with my to-do list. Accurate understanding. I'm trying to reflect back what you're saying, both the content and the emotion, so we're aligned on meaning. Acceptance. I'm not evaluating you. You don't have to impress me or defend yourself to me. You can just be here. Here's the mental model that unlocked it for me. Whenever someone speaks, there's the content, the facts, the story, and the emotion, the signal underneath: fear, excitement, frustration, hope. A good listener is fluent in both. Sometimes I reflect the content, sometimes I reflect the feeling, sometimes both. The art is in sensing what will help the speaker move forward. And because this is a skill, not a personality trait, it's learned, not a checklist, but a toolbox I can reach into as needed. In other words, Not steps, tools. Below are the tools I use most. You won't need all of them every time, and you won't do them in order. You'll sense, choose, try, adjust, just like any good craft. Presence sounds poetic until you try to do it while your brain is juggling notifications, self-consciousness, and dinner plans. But presence is the foundation. Without it, everything else feels mechanical. With it, small gestures become huge. What it looks like. I square my body, soften my jaw, keep my face open and relaxed. My eyes are kind, curious, not interrogatory. I blink, I breathe. I don't stare like a statue. I put my phone face down or out of sight. I mentally say, I'm here with you. That small intention resets me. Why it matters. People can feel when you're with them or half a room away. Presence says, you matter in this moment. That alone lowers defences. Try this. Before your next conversation that matters, take one full breath and silently ask, what would serve this person right now? Not how do I impress them? Not how do I win? Just how do I serve? Then follow where that answer nudges you. This one saved me from so many misunderstandings. I used to nod like a bobblehead and then discover 20 minutes later that we were building two different puzzles. Now I paraphrase, briefly, naturally, and without theatrics. How I do it. After a chunk of their story, I reflect it back. So you felt blindsided when the deadline changed, and now you're wondering if the team has your back. Did I get that right? If it's an emotional topic, it sounds like you're exhausted from carrying this by yourself. Is that close? 2 keys. Keep it short. This isn't a re-speech, it's a mirror. End with a soft check. Is that right? Did I catch that? What am I missing? Why it works. Even Carl Rogers admitted he misheard sometimes. We all do. Paraphrasing creates a clean loop. If I'm off, they correct me. If I'm on, their nervous system relaxes and we can go deeper. Bonus. Paraphrasing isn't just for feelings. It's a superpower in meetings. Let me make sure I've got this. We're choosing option A, shipping by Friday, and you'll lead QA. Yes? You'll be shocked how much confusion this prevents. Active listening is not poker face staring. It's participatory. I use minimal encouragers, little signals that say, I'm here, keep going. Examples. Nod small, I see, go on, right. That makes sense. Micro reactions that match the tone, raised brows for surprise, soft eyes for pain, a half smile for something tender. What I avoid, interrupting with my solutions, jumping in with, oh, that happened to me too. 5 seconds after they share something raw. There's a moment for my stories, but not until I've made it clear I understand their story first. Why it works. Encouragers are like breadcrumbs on the path. They reassure the speaker that they're not walking alone. And because they're light, the speaker doesn't lose their flow. I used to fire answers like a pinball machine. Ding, ding, ding response. Now I leave a beat after someone finishes. Just a breath. Sometimes the most important sentence of the conversation arrives in that beat. How it sounds. Them. I guess I'm just disappointed. Beat. I hold eye contact, warm and patient. Them. Actually, I'm not just disappointed. I'm scared this means I'm not cut out for this. Silence isn't dead space. It's fertile ground. It invites honesty to come forward without being rushed. And when I finally respond, my words come from understanding instead of urgency. Words struggle to carry emotions cleanly. That's where emotion labelling helps. After I've caught the gist, I'll gently name what I sense. That sounds frustrating. I hear a lot of relief in that. It seems like you feel boxed in. You sound genuinely excited. Will I get it wrong sometimes? Absolutely. That's fine. When I'm off, they correct me. It's not frustration, it's more embarrassment. Great. Now we're closer to the truth. The act of trying communicates care, and the right label often softens the feeling, like turning on a light in a dim room. Pro tip, keep your tone curious, not declarative. It sounds like I'm hearing, I wonder if language like that leaves room for them to steer. There's a timeless idea. You can make more friends in 2 months by being sincerely interested in other people than in 2 years spent trying to get people interested in you. The first time I read that, it hit me like a friendly wake-up call. Listening isn't the same as wanting to understand. You can sit quietly for 20 minutes and still be tuned to your own frequency. What changed everything for me was choosing real curiosity. Who is in front of me right now? What is it like to be them today? I don't stalk for information. I open a window for their inner world to breeze in. And people can feel the difference. Interest is its own kind of compliment, and it's much stronger than flattery. Questions that help. What felt most important about that to you? If you had to name the real worry under this, what would it be? What do you want to be true 6 months from now? Where did you first learn to handle it this way? These aren't interrogations. They're invitations. Ask them lightly. If the person doesn't want to go there, respect the boundary and circle back to where they do want to be. One of Rogers' quietest insights is that people aren't problems to solve. They're humans to accompany. When I reflect someone's strengths, accurately, not as a pep talk, they often rediscover their agency. What I'm hearing is you've handled a lot with patience. It strikes me that you really value fairness. You kept showing up through confusion, through delays. That says something about you. Reflecting identity, you're the kind of person who can lift someone out of a narrow, anxious frame and remind them of the larger story they're living. Nothing wilts honesty faster than judgment. The obvious kind is easy to spot. Why would you do that? But the subtle kind sneaks in. Correcting their word choice, rushing to reframe, diagnosing when they just want to exhale. Person-centered listening is not agreeing with everything. It's agreeing to understand first. That order matters. Understanding doesn't trap you. It frees you to respond with clarity instead of reactivity. Sometimes, after I've understood them and mirrored it back, I'll share a story or a thought. But if I share too soon, I hijack the conversation. A simple rule helps me. Reflect, arrow, clarify, arrow, then add 1. Reflect what I heard. 2. Clarify what they want. Do you want feedback, or should I just be with you in this? 3. Add only what serves that intention. I can't tell you how many tense moments this has diffused. People often don't want a solution. They want a companion. When they do want advice, they'll tell you, and now they trust it, because you earned the right to offer it. Old me, well-meaning but unhelpful. Friend. I feel stuck at work. Me. You should just switch teams. Have you tried a productivity app? My friend used one and got promoted. New me, active listener. Friend. I feel stuck at work. Me. Stuck how? Like unclear on next steps, or like you're doing things you don't believe in? Friend. The second one. Me. Oof. That's heavy. Sounds like it's bruising your motivation. Friend. Exactly. Me. What would feeling aligned look like if you could picture it for a minute? Friend. Honestly, less chasing metrics, more building things I'm proud of. Me. That rings true. Want to brainstorm paths that move you toward that, or do you just need space to name it today? Friend. Let's brainstorm. See the flow? No magic tricks, just presence, reflection, and permission. Human beings are social learners. We co-regulate. When someone offers steady attention without judgment, our nervous systems downshift. We think clearer. We're more honest. Insight gets less tangled. That's why people say they hear themselves differently when someone truly listens. The listener becomes a tuning fork. Active listening also changes me. My attention slows down enough to notice the story underneath the story. I'm less defensive because I'm not trying to perform. And funnily enough, when I stop trying to be impressive, I show up as someone people naturally want to be around. Real charisma starts where self-absorption ends. At work, One-to-ones feel less like status updates and more like alignment sessions. Team debates get braver but calmer. People feel safe disagreeing because they trust we're not keeping score. With friends, we skip the "I'm fine" loop and go straight to the good stuff. We laugh more. We also sit quietly better. In conflict, reflecting someone's fear or frustration disarms reactivity. Understanding doesn't equal agreeing, but it often opens a door that arguing can't find. With myself, yes, self-listening is a thing. When I label my own emotions, I'm anxious because I care. I stop fighting ghosts and start facing what's real. 1. Performing empathy. Over-nodding, over-summarising. That must be so hard every 60 seconds. It reads as acting, not presence. Less actor, more anchor. 2. Fixing too fast. Solutions are tasty to the ego. I still catch myself reaching for them. I ask, do you want ideas or just company? And honour the answer. 3. Hijacking with my story. That reminds me of when the urge is human. If I share, I keep it short and relevant, then hand the mic back. But enough about me. Where does that leave you? 4. Forgetting the body. I can say wise things with a face that looks irritated. My body is part of the message. Soft eyes, grounded shoulders, gentle breath. 5. Faking agreement. Active listening doesn't require me to agree. If I disagree, I say it kindly, after I've demonstrated real understanding. Presence. I'm here with you. Put phone away. Breathe. Paraphrase. So you're saying "dog" and you're feeling "oh." Is that right? Encourage. Right. Go on. Silence. Wait a beat. Let the next layer arrive. Label. Sounds frustrating, hopeful, scary, exciting. Curiosity. What matters most about this for you? Boundaries. Do you want ideas or should I just listen? Reflect strengths. I notice your persistence here. Close the loop. What's a good next tiny step? Print it. Screenshot it. Stick it on your fridge. It's not glamorous, but it's gold. Day 1, 1 breath of presence. Choose one conversation. Before it starts, take a slow breath and think. Be with them. That's it. Day 2. 1 clean paraphrase. In a chat or call, reflect back 1 sentence. So it sounds like, did I get that right? Day 3. Encourage without hijacking use. Nods. I see. Keep your story holstered. See what emerges. Day 4. Label 1 emotion. Try a gentle label. That sounds overwhelming. If you're wrong, they'll steer you right. Day 5. Ask 1 deepening question. What part of that matters most to you? Let their answer set the direction. Day 6. Leave 1 beat of silence. Count 1 Mississippi before responding. Notice what comes up, both in them and in you. Day 7. Reflect a strength name, something true and specific you notice about them. You kept showing up even when it was messy. Repeat the week. Rotate the tools. You'll feel the shift. I started this journey because I wanted to be a better communicator. I wanted smoother meetings, richer friendships, fewer misunderstandings. I got those. But I also got something else. I became more at ease with people. When you stop trying to control a conversation and instead commit to honouring it, your nervous system learns a new rhythm. You're not bracing for your turn. You're not juggling your reputation like it's made of glass. You're trusting that presence is enough. And it is. Active listening nudged me toward a kind of quiet charisma, not the peacocking kind that needs the room to notice it, but the grounded kind that makes the room feel safe. People started opening up to me more. They sought me out for the conversations that matter. And I didn't feel drained afterward, because I wasn't carrying them, I was accompanying them. There's another unexpected gift. Listening like this changed how I speak. When I do talk, my words feel less like darts and more like lanterns. I don't say more, I say enough. And enough is powerful. What if the other person doesn't open up? Respect it. Listening includes hearing the boundary. You can be warm, curious, and still keep things light. This isn't a truth serum trick. It's an invitation, not a demand. What if they keep spiraling without landing? Gently summarize and ask a focusing question. I'm hearing 3 things: pressure from time, worry about expectations, and confusion about next steps. Which would help most to explore right now? What if I disagree? Listen first, reflect accurately, then share your perspective with humility. I see why you'd feel that. Can I share what I'm worried about from my side? Dialogue beats debate. What if I'm the one who's emotional? Label your own feeling. I'm getting defensive because this matters to me. Take a breath. Ask for a pause if needed. Come back when you can listen again. What if time is short? Even 30 seconds of good listening is better than 5 minutes of scattered advice. Try, I have 2 minutes and want to give you my full attention. What's the one thing you need me to hear? With a teammate. You mentioned the deadline changes twice. Sounds like it's eroding trust. Is that what's underneath the frustration? With a friend going through a breakup. You sound torn, part of you relieved, part of you grieving the future you pictured. Did I get that right? With a family member venting, I want to make sure I'm hearing you before I chime in. Do you want ideas from me, or do you want me to just hang out with you in this feeling? With yourself at 1 a.m. I'm anxious because I care about doing this well. Okay, breath. What's one kind action I can take next? Roger's genius wasn't that he discovered a clever therapy tactic. It's that he trusted something human and humble. People grow when they feel accepted, not indulged, not managed, accepted. Acceptance is not the same as approval. It's a refusal to make love conditional on performance. When you offer that kind of climate, with your eyes, your tone, your presence, people breathe differently. They meet themselves with less fear. I'm not saying listening cures everything. Some problems need decisions, boundaries, expertise, action, but listening is the doorway to all of that. It's the precondition for real solutions, because it tells the truth about what is, before we try to build what could be. And here's the part that keeps me practicing even on tired days. Every time I choose to listen this way, I become someone I respect a little more. Not because I'm nice, but because I'm brave enough to be with another person in their reality without using them to polish mine. Your turn, yes, today. If this resonates, don't just nod and scroll on. Try one tool in your next conversation. Paraphrase once. Label one emotion. Leave one extra beat of silence. Watch what happens in their eyes. Notice what happens in your chest. Feel the room exhale. Active listening is simple, not easy. But the simplicity is the point. You don't need a graduate degree to practice it. You need willingness. You need the courage to hold a moment without rushing it. And you need the humility to let the other person be the star of their own story. Start small. Keep going. Collect the experiences that shape your attitude. Because after enough of them, you won't be doing active listening. You'll be someone who naturally offers it. And from there, the rest of your communication starts to feel less like trying to impress and more like discovering the world, one honest conversation at a time. If you're into this kind of thing like I am, check out the earlier talks where I stumble, learn, and share what's actually worked for me. And if life doesn't throw me a plot twist, I'll be back next week with more. Because the more we practice this together, the more the world around us starts to sound like what it always wanted to say. Until then, I'm listening.